really sorry, but no one really liked it. And I was like, really? And he goes, I don't think you should invest money in it.
Hey guys, welcome back to episode 95. Now, from time to time, I love to have my clients on this show. Why? Because they actually have so much to share about the growth of their businesses. You see, I'm impressed all the time about the amazing, diverse, beautiful businesses that we work with in the digital marketing space. And this one is definitely one of the ones that's going to wow you. Saar Isaacs is the founder of InSync Designs. And just a couple of really cool points about her. So she is the winner of 10 international awards. She's been a small business owner for 23 years, but InSync Design has been around for 17. So she's held this down for a long time. It's been featured in several international magazines and has been worn. So you'll find out what she sells in a minute. It's been worn by SBS newsreaders and female politicians on many occasions. And she's also been featured in 9 prestigious international design books, you guys. This is such a great conversation. You're going to be with her through the twists and turns of her business, what she has changed her definition of success to be and mean and why. And there's some really great ways that she now measures success versus in the past. She even has some great advice for you guys as well around email marketing, selling products, and social media too. So you've got to stay tuned, listen into our amazing conversation. I can't wait for you to meet her. So shall we do it? Shall we welcome her on the show? Let's go. Reese from InSync Design, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you. Yeah, excited. It's my first podcast. I'm very excited.
I'm so excited as well. Guys, to give you some backstory. So I've done a little bit of work for InSync Design, which we're going to talk about soon. So you get to know all about the beautiful business and everything about it and what actually she sells. So I did a little bit of work, and from time to time I reach out to my clients and I say, want to come on the show? Because everyone has such beautiful businesses and amazing stories to tell. And like you're one of them. So I'm really happy that you said, yes, I'm coming on. So thank you.
Thank you.
So we're going to start with your business. And before I talk a little bit about why you started it, what actually do you do? What is InSync Design?
I design and make contemporary jewellery, as simple as that. It is not the kind of jewellery that you'll find in a jewellery shop. It's more like a very high design, very graphic, and my niche is museum stores. And that niche is actually an organic thing that happened over time without really planning for it. The whole idea of it was actually, my background is jewelry, but precious jewelry. So I was working with diamonds, golds, pearls. And in 2006, there was a call out by Craft Victoria asking for local artists to make a product for Christmas at the time. When that happened, there was no such a thing as design markets, and they wanted to create a very unique sort of design market with local artists creating products specifically for Christmas. So at the time, I had a toddler at home that was drawing lots of those stick figures, the circle, dot, and she was obsessed with it. She was drawing hundreds of them, and I absolutely loved them. And I framed so many of them on the wall. And then when the call out came, and they wanted us to create something specifically for that design market, I thought of her because I was surrounded with it at the time. I was a stay-at-home mum with a toddler. And I wanted to create some kind of a product that was not too expensive and that was very naive in its appearance, very bright, very immediate in a way. So I basically rolled out her IKEA paper roll and her crayons and sat on the floor and started doing some doodles. And I wanted to create a range of brooches, very brightly colored brooches that will sort of bring out that creativity and that naivety within it. And as I said, at the time, I was a stay-at-home mom. I didn't really have any contact with the adults. So So I made all these drawings and I gave it to my husband, who is a financial advisor and accountant, to take it to work and ask some adults their opinions of it.
Wow.
And he took it to work and he came home that night and he goes, "I'm really sorry, but no one really liked it." And I was like, "Really?" And he goes, I don't think you should invest money in it. I don't think it's a good investment as a financial advisor.
Yeah.
And I actually said to him, "You know what? I really believe in it. I want to do it." And this is me that's coming from, precious jewellery and ready to work with gold and diamond and very high price products. I said, I'm going to do it. I really believe in it. So I've designed, I think it was initially about 20 designs or so, and then
Okay.
narrowed it down to about 7. And we made 70 brooches of like brightly colored, powder coated brooches and took it to the market. And we sold out. We sold out at that market, and it was like, it was a good one. And then I thought, I've made quite a bit of money on that weekend, and I thought I'll go back to my normal thing of, making the precious jewelry to a few select very high-end galleries.
Right.
And very soon after, I was approached by the NGV wanting a collection for the NGV of those brooches. And I
Okay.
said, "Sorry, but we sold out. I don't have any." So they actually commissioned us to make a collection specifically for them. And then within 6 months, I was in all the top museums in Australia. So it was like,
6 months.
yeah, within 6 months, I was in all the top state museums. So Gallery of New
Yeah.
South Wales, Western Australia, Victoria. And then after less than a year, probably 8 to 9 months later, we realized that, I can't stay in Australia with it because I've saturated the best galleries. What's next? And then
Yep.
I went and did a trade show in London that's called Top Draw. And InSync was scouted by the V&A. And their first order was 350 pieces, which was
Wow.
insane. No one ever
Wow.
orders that much. And also another big thing that happened was that InSync was actually scouted for a trend book. So every year, all the big companies actually produce their predictions for the year. And they
Uh-huh.
look at trend books and what's coming and whatever. And InSync brooches were actually part of that trend book. So overnight, it became like a really sort of positioned in a very prestigious sort of location as the V&A. And then soon after, I went to the US because I thought, that's the next best thing. I went to the US and I started doing trade shows in New York now, in New York for 15 years.
Yep.
And organically, all the museum buyers were the ones that were buying the work. So it was really never planned, but it was just an organic sort of thing that this is who my clients were. And then over
Brilliant.
time, it sort of really niched into it.
Absolutely brilliant. There's a couple things you said specifically I wanted to point out. And the first one was that you gave it to your partner to bring to work and to say, what do people think about it? And I like that you didn't listen because I mean, they probably weren't your target market, right?
100% they're not. Accountants are not my target market.
Right? And I think that's so important for most people that say, oh, they didn't like it. It's probably because they weren't your market in the first place. So I
Correct.
love that you said that. And number two, the predictions book is something that I actually talk to people across all industries about, like to either publish your own or get in one, because those prediction industry reports, no matter what industry you're in, are really, really powerful. So I find that really fascinating that you made it into one of those as well.
Without even planning. It just happened
And it went fast for you, it sounds like. So you had this
really
idea, you
fast.
went to the markets, and then boom, it just took off.
Yeah. And it was also really fast recognizing where my niche is without even
Yeah.
planning for it. Because when I
Yeah.
launched, I really didn't have in mind who I would be appealing to. It was very much targeting for me. Like it was making pieces that were enhancing what I wear normally. I'm a Melbourne woman and I wear a lot of black and grey. And I
Yep.
wanted something to really uplift it and make a statement, a creative statement, and make a statement that I'm creative and I'm an artist. And, and that was just the perfect thing. Brooches are very creative, especially those kind of brooches. And then later on, of course, I expanded into necklaces and earrings and rings, but brooches were the hallmark, the start of.
Perfect. So you had your core product offering and
Yeah.
then really focused on that market. And I like how you fell into it by accident as well. Really interesting.
Yeah. And it
Yeah,
was
love
never
it.
really planned as a business. It was
Yeah.
supposed to be just a once off for Christmas, make a bit of money and go back to my life. But that never happened. 17 years later, I'm still in it.
You're still in it. Okay. So what is a project that you're working on now that you've had this business for 17 years or close to? What are you working on now that you're excited about for the future?
Well, I'm at the moment designing a new product that I don't have within the range yet. It's
Okay.
actually these beautiful leather trays that I'll have my illustrations on them, so you keep the jewelry within it. They're beautiful.
Oh,
I'm really excited.
ooh, that is okay. Just personally, with my girlfriends and I who have jewelry, having places to put it or to lay out what you're going to wear for the day is huge. So
Yeah,
I love
it's
this. Is a great
for
idea.
me as well. It's I'm very excited about it because it gives me a
Yeah.
complete creative freedom. Because when you design and make jewelry, you need to be very conscious of how it works on the body in terms of size, composition, weight, all the rest of it, because it is on your body and it needs to be super comfortable
Yeah.
and functional. But when I design a jewelry tray, I can go to town. It doesn't really matter. And it's
Yeah.
very creative and I'm very excited.
I'm dying to see it. Oh my gosh. Okay. When did they come out?
I'm working on it now. I'm hoping in the next few months.
Okay, good. So jewelry is such a visual thing as well. So guys, I know you're listening to this and you're like, I really want to see the designs. Good. Because now what you're going to have to do is pause the podcast, open up your phone and go to the website. So what's the website that they can go to?
It's InSync Design. So it's www.insyncdesign.com.au.
So simple, you guys, insyncdesign.com.au. You've got to go there and check it out because her designs are stunning and so unique and so different. So yeah, go there now while you're thinking about it and then come back and then hit play again. So just
Another
why, why we're on that.
thing, I mean, another major consideration is they're super light and hypoallergenic because I
Yeah,
can't wear costume jewelry. So everything that I make is really, really comfortable and it doesn't create any allergies.
so good. So as you're growing your this business, this accidental sort of business that you fell into, or I won't say fell into, you created it, you wanted
Mhm.
it. So obviously, this show, The Hustle Rebellion, is about growing your business smarter, about how do you get through times of overwhelm and stress. How have you personally gotten through the times of intense overwhelm or stress as you've grown this business?
Well, there were lots of stages to it.
Yes.
I'd say for the first 12 years or so, or 14 years, I worked day and night, 24/7, all the time. It was just basically going through the motions. And look, we were three of us hand making everything. We were making about 10,000 pieces a year by hand, sending to 90 museums worldwide. So it's been intense, really
Wow.
intense. So for about 12 years, I was working crazy hours. I was sleeping about 5 hours a night and working 7 days a week all the time, but living on adrenaline, loving it. I think I just loved the fact that I just hit all the right notes and I was ticking all the right boxes. I won 16 international design awards and I've been featured in amazing design books. So that was sort of the adrenaline that kept me going. But I didn't
Okay.
have a very healthy lifestyle, to be honest. I really
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah.
And then in 2018, I had a stroke. Um,
Okay.
yes,
Wow.
it was a wake up call. And it was
Yeah.
like, I just can't keep doing it. As much as I love it and as much as it's ticking all the boxes, it's just not enough. My body was falling apart. And then, funnily enough, COVID happened after that. And then when COVID happened, it was like, you know what? It's a sign. I really have to change direction. And that's when I decided to stop the wholesale, to stop the travel, to stop all the museums. I kept a handful of them
Yeah.
and I went online. And
Yeah.
very naively, I thought that online will be like the museums and like wholesale. And God, was I wrong. And that's when you came into the picture.
Talk to me
I
more about that. What did we do? Yeah, tell me that backstory.
Okay, so I assumed like I've never ever needed to do PR or marketing or anything because I won all these awards. I mean, all these fabulous museums. And when a person goes to these prestigious museums, they go past the shop, they see a product, they like it, they buy it. I've never, ever needed to market it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, when the pandemic happened and I decided, okay, I'm going to put all my effort into my online shop. I've always had an online website, but it was a brochure. I really didn't sell much online. And whenever I sold something online, it was a bonus. It wasn't something that I really focused on. And then very naively, I thought, okay, so I'll just, go online. And crickets, there was nothing happening. And I was like, oh my God, I don't even know how to deal with it. And then I went on a program. I can't even remember which one, which you were the MC of. And in your introduction, you were saying that you worked for Tony Robbins. And it was like,
Yes.
My eyes were like blinging because I did all of the Tony Robbins courses. I've graduated all of them. And as soon as you said Tony Robbins, I was like, I'm listening. And later on, I contacted you and I said, I need help. And then you went on and you helped me with restructuring my website and looking at how to make it more shop-like, which it wasn't prior to that. It was very much a brochure, and really customizing it. And I would have to say that since then, it's had so many iterations and constant updating. But yeah, it's been a journey, and I'm constantly learning and I'm constantly evolving within the online marketing.
It's great you said iterations, because there's no such thing anymore with digital marketing, as you know, that you build it and it's perfect and it just sits like that for years.
Yeah.
So love that you said that. What are some of the things that you've been doing on your website and in your online marketing that you feel are working really well?
Well, I think the thing that works the most is my campaigns, my email campaigns. They generate the most revenue. So the way I structure my social media is that I schedule it a month in advance through Later. So then I schedule it for Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Pinterest. So that sort of creates awareness of the brand and of what I'm doing at the time. But the thing that generates the most traction and interaction is actually the Klaviyo emails that I'm sending. And I created a very sort of structured campaign that I do once a month. So that's another big change. Prior to the pandemic, I used to create one large collection a year and then exhibit it in Australia, then in New York, then in Amsterdam, and do the rounds like that. And each collection was anywhere between 20 and 30 pieces. And then the buyers will come select their pieces and then reorder from that. But then once I went online, I actually changed it to launching one new piece a month.
Okay.
And that means that I don't need to make as many. And then I'm basically in their inboxes once a month, which is really, really good. And I now create a lot smaller collection. So prior to that, because I was making for so many museums, we needed to make hundreds of pieces. Whereas now I sell one-to-one customer. I don't need to make as many. And then I've got a really nice thing on the website where when you join the mailing list, you actually become the curator. So every time I create a piece, I create only 10 or 20 of them, and I send it to my database. If it sells out, I know it's a good one, and then I add it to the collection. If it doesn't, it goes into sell, and I'll never make it again. So there's no wastage. And basically, my collectors are the curators. I've got about 8,000 active collectors that are constantly sort of on it. And I've got collectors that have 20 and 30 pieces by now. Yeah.
Wow. Talk about knowing how to build a community and a tribe. How good are you at that? That's incredible.
But it was all intuitive. It was never really planned. It was very much, talking directly to them and saying, look, this is what I've done. I'm excited about it. And often people ask me, what's your favorite piece? I have to admit that my favorite piece is the last one I've made.
Yeah.
Like these ones are one of the last pieces I've made, and I love them.
Beautiful. Do you mind sharing what you actually put in that email? Oh, so first of all, you only send out one email a month. Yeah, that's what you're saying?
One launch a month, but there's 4 emails for that launch. So the first one is for the VIPs. They get first access because I make only about 10 per design, per design per color. Then my VIPs get first choice. Then the day after, I send it to my collector database. And then the day after, it goes onto social media. So it actually launches for 1 week only.
Got it. Okay, you've done something brilliant here, which I love. So you've really truly relied on your community. You're listening to them. You're getting them absolutely involved in the journey of your creations. But also you have inbuilt marketing scarcity and urgency because every single month you're actually doing a launch. So it's like, get
Yeah, I
in
am.
now. Yeah, you
Yeah.
are.
And then
That's smart.
by the end of the year, I actually look back and I see how many I sold in each launch. And if they were selling really well, then I'll
Yeah.
reintroduce them the year after. So they're not available after that week at all.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I'll remake them to relaunch the year after.
Which makes sense as to why you have these collectors in your community as well, because they
Mhm.
know that they might not ever get access to them again.
That's right. That's right.
What do you do in the VIP email to get them excited? What's different from your VIP email than from your general emails that you send out
I'm
to the
basically
database?
letting them know that it's available now. No one else knows about it. They get private access for 24 hours. And
Got it.
after 24 hours, it goes to the rest of the collectors.
Very, very, very smart, Therese. I love it very much. Wow, very impressed. Okay, talking about social media, you are very smart with that too. So you're really leveraging your time here and being smart with your marketing. So you have your later tool and you schedule that out every month. What types of posts are you doing on social media?
It changes. So when I do a launch for that whole week, I do posts about that piece. So it will
Yep,
be on a model, it will be on me, it will be a video, it will be making it, whatever it is for the
good.
whole week. And
Yep,
then the rest of the month, it will be a lot of shared images from my customers wearing my pieces that send me images. So I will reshare their images. And it will be sometimes me making, sometimes it will be, what else? I can't even remember. It'll be just things that I get from my community or things that are happening in the studio.
Have you, when you first started doing video, were you scared about doing video or did it come natural
Hate
to
it.
you? Okay,
I'm
good.
terrible at it. I still feel really uncomfortable in front of the video. And I know I should be doing more than what I'm doing. Most of my posts are actually images rather than videos
Hmm.
because I feel like it's a lot more creative and artistic. And I love playing with Canva, love Canva. So it just gives me that creative outlet and I enjoy doing it.
Yep.
I do have to admit that video is still a very sore point.
I always like to ask that question when appropriate in my conversations with people because yes, video is just so incredible, but also you have a tremendous amount of success without it. And without it all the time. And I think that's important to recognize twofold here. Number one is play to your strengths. So you've not let it stop you by, oh, I have to do video. You've just gone, fine, I'm doing images more. That's cool. That's who I am.
Yeah.
I think that's important because so many people get hung up on, oh gosh, I have to do video, I have to do video, and therefore they don't do anything.
No, I think I really enjoy sharing images. I think I'm
Yeah.
very visual and I really enjoy doing that. And I love sharing images that inspire me.
Yeah.
So that's a very easy one for me. And for a very long time, I used to share a lot of artwork that inspired me. But then I was advised not to. I was advised to focus on what I'm doing in the studio and my customers. So I've changed that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, video is a sore point, and I know I need to do more of it, and I'm not.
I'm going to challenge you to try just to test and measure against what you are doing. Or like one of my other friends slash clients, she's like, I hate video. I hate video. I'm like, join the club. Most of us hate video.
I
But she's
actually
like,
found a trick to it, I have to tell you. I,
yeah,
I really feel uncomfortable in front of the camera, and also I'm quite a perfectionist in terms of how it looks. So
yeah,
for me to focus on the technicality of the camera and the video and the sound and talking and thinking about what to talk about, I just found it too overwhelming. So what I've done, I've actually hired a professional videographer that
yep,
comes into the studio and we do a few launches in one go.
nice.
She shoots everything and then she shoots it back to me as a raw, and then I put it into Canva and I design it and I play with it.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, I'm always like fishing for tips for what other business
Yeah,
owners can
so
share with other business
I
owners.
found that to be a lot more comfortable for me to deal with, because then I just sit with her and chat while I'm in the studio and she asks me questions and I answer. It's like a conversation we're having now,
Yeah.
and I don't feel like I need to worry about the technicality.
No, you do not. Another thing too that I've seen people do really well that don't like video is they just film. They're in their own creative way. They film their product. They film what they're doing, and their face is actually not on the video. So they film it just clips, and then they do voiceover and edit that in as well.
Yeah, that's possible. I mean,
So it's kind
another
of
thing
fun.
that I've done is on my homepage, there's actually a clip of me working that the same
Perfect.
photographer took.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just showing like a glimpse into my studio.
Perfect. Now, I want to talk a little bit around success and business growth because, like you were just all over the world in so many museums, and then your health maybe suffered from it, maybe not, who knows, right? But you had this really intense lifestyle. There's a lot of people out there that think that that is success and that's what they should strive for. So I'm curious now with the lifestyle that you have now, because you have simplified things and you have the smaller range that you promote every single month. Is this something that you feel is where you want to stay? Do you want to grow from here? I'm just curious now of your definition of success and growth. What do you want coming up?
Okay, the definition of success has definitely changed.
Yep.
If you would have asked me prior to 2018, is winning more awards. That was my goal, like
Yeah.
just ticking another award every year. And then now my goal is completely different. Now it's lifestyle. So I don't make as much money, but my profit margin is higher. And
Ah.
I've got a life. And I do yoga every morning and I don't work on weekends and I actually have a life, which is so nice.
And that's, I'm guessing, where you want to keep it in the future.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So then what strings do you pull for success for you now? Like what are the little leverages or little tweaks that you make to know that I'm on the right path?
Well, I measure it in, there's two things. One, in terms of if you'd ask me how do I define success now, it would be my 5-star reviews. Like this is
Okay.
really what fuels me. And all my reviews are 5 stars. I have a handful of 4 stars and I was horrified when I got them. Like really horrified. And then my girlfriend said to me, Reese, some people don't give 5. And it's like, why? And she goes, it's just they
I
don't.
just
They,
don't.
yeah, and it's like, but why? The review was still beautiful, but they wouldn't give me the 5, and that really hurt. So yeah, so I have to admit, I think that is what fuels me is reading those reviews, and they constantly. At the moment, I've got about 800 or so 5-star reviews, and they keep growing, and I think that really makes it so worthwhile every time I read it. And the reviews are consistent; they're all brilliant, and they're all saying the same thing: that every time a woman wears my piece, she gets multiple compliments and people stop her in the street and start conversation about it. And I find that my jewelry appeals to creatives that are normally my age, so they're like 30 and up. And I find that women my age normally get complimented for their achievements, for their brains, for what they contribute, but not often for their look. Whereas every time you wear my pieces, people stop you in the street, and a lot of times it's males that notice and they go, oh my God, what is that? Where did you get it? And that's the comments that I get constantly. And that's why on my website, I actually say it's jewelry that gets you lots of compliments and starts conversation, because that is what I hear from my clients.
I remember our conversations before 2021 when you were telling me that, and I absolutely loved that you get those compliments. And I
Yeah.
love that you're actually looking for success now through your reviews, and that is a testament to you and your community and what you're doing in your industry and just how you think about business. So I love it. And as we start to wrap up, I would like you to share with our listeners if you have any words of wisdom or advice for anyone that is feeling burnt out, that is struggling right now in their business to see a light at the end of the tunnel. Do you have any advice for them?
Yeah, step back and breathe. Really, you need to. The only way you can actually see it clearly, see the big picture, is when you step back. When you're so entrenched inside of it, it's just overwhelming, and you can't see the big picture and understand the why and understand what is it that makes you wake up in the morning and get excited. So for me, it was forced upon me with a stroke. But I think just generally in life, when things just get too much, you need to stop, step back, reassess, and then look again.
Beautifully said. And as we start to wrap up, now I know everyone's going to say, okay, I want these compliments walking down the street as well. I'm in. So guys, you have to go to insyncdesign.com.au and
Thank you.
sign up for the email list. Yeah, that's where you get all the emails.
That's right. And you'll actually see on the website, on the homepage, it actually explains that you become the curator.
Guys, if you have any interest in jewelry, which let's face it, it's probably a lot of you listening. And if you have any interest in just beautiful art and design, you've got to check it out. You've got to go check it out.
Thank you.
So, gosh, thank you so much for being here and giving me the backstory. And I got to learn so much about you, and I love your philosophy and what you stand for now. So thank you for sharing that.
Thanks, Heather.